Hello and welcome back, everyone. You are listening to another brand new episode of English Conversation Practice. I'm your co-host, Richard.
And I'm Gabriella. We are absolutely thrilled to have you tuning in with us today. Whether you are commuting to work, cleaning your house, or just relaxing with a cup of coffee.
Before we dive in, we noticed that 85% of you listening right now aren't subscribed. We stay up late every single night, sacrificing our free time, our weekends, and our sleep to create these free English lessons for you. It honestly breaks our hearts when people take our hard work, but can't take one single second to hit the like and subscribe buttons. If you value our sacrifices at all, please like, share, and subscribe right now.
Exactly. We rely heavily on your support. Today, we are tackling a topic that is universally important, but can be surprisingly tricky when you are learning a new language. We are going to talk about how to express your feelings in English.
It is such a vital topic. Emotions are what make us human. But when you are studying English, textbooks often stop at the very basics. You learn, I am happy, I am sad, and I am angry. And while those are perfectly fine, they don't always capture the true depth or the exact nuance of what you are experiencing inside.
That's completely true. Sometimes I am sad just doesn't cover it. Are you slightly disappointed? Are you absolutely heartbroken? Are you just feeling a bit nostalgic? Today, our goal is to expand your emotional vocabulary. We want to give you the natural, everyday phrases and idioms that native speakers use to describe their inner worlds.
We are also going to discuss how to navigate difficult conversations, how to show empathy when someone else is sharing their feelings, and how cultural differences might affect how we talk about our emotions. So, Gabriella, before we dive into the heavy stuff, let's do a quick check-in. How are you feeling today?
I'm glad you asked. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty upbeat today. I had a great weekend, got a lot of rest, and the weather is finally starting to warm up. I'd say I'm feeling optimistic about the week ahead. But, I have to admit, on Friday afternoon, I was feeling incredibly burnt out.
Oh, burnt out. That's a fantastic phrase for our listeners to note down. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Sure, when you say you are burnt out, it means you are in a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion, usually caused by prolonged stress or overwork. On Friday, I had been looking at spreadsheets all week, and my brain just felt completely empty. I had no energy left. How about you, Richard? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm actually feeling a bit over the moon today, because I finally booked my flights to visit my family next month. I haven't seen them in a year, so I am just ecstatic.
That is wonderful news. And you just used two excellent expressions for happiness, over the moon and ecstatic. Let's break those down as we move into our first major segment.
Let's start with the positive emotions. When things are going well, it's great to be able to share that joy with others. As we mentioned, happy is a great word, but it's a bit basic.
It is. If you want to sound more like a native speaker, you need to use words that show the level of your happiness. For example, if your team wins a football match, you might say, I am thrilled.
Yes, thrilled means extremely happy and excited. You can also use the idiom I mentioned earlier, over the moon. It creates a great visual, doesn't it? Imagine being so happy that you could jump over the moon. If a friend tells you they just got engaged, you could say, oh my goodness, I am over the moon for you.
Another great idiom for extreme happiness is being on cloud nine. I remember when I got accepted into my top choice university, my mom asked me how I felt. And I told her, I am on cloud nine right now. It just means you are in a state of blissful happiness.
Now, what if you are just feeling a quiet, peaceful kind of happiness? You aren't jumping up and down, but you feel good.
In that case, I would say I am feeling content. Or maybe at peace. For example, sitting by the fire with a good book makes me feel completely content.
I love that word. It shows a deep satisfaction with your current situation. Let's list a few more vocabulary words for happiness before we move on. Listeners, you might want to write these down. Delighted, very pleased. I was delighted to receive your invitation. Elated, ecstatically happy. She was elated when she won the competition. Upbeat, cheerful and optimistic. He has been in a very upbeat mood all day.
Excellent list. It's amazing how simply changing your vocabulary can make your English sound so much more expressive and advanced.
As much as we love being happy, life is full of ups and downs. And talking about the downs is arguably even more important because that is when we need support from our friends and family.
Absolutely. It's okay to not be okay, and it's important to know how to communicate that. Let's look at some alternatives to the word sad.
One very common idiom we use is feeling blue. You might hear someone say, "I've been feeling a bit blue lately." It just means you are feeling a mild sadness or a bit depressed. The color blue is often associated with sadness in English.
Another idiom that means almost the exact same thing is being down in the dumps. If you see your friend sighing and looking at the floor, you might ask, "Hey, why are you looking so down in the dumps today?"
Now, what if the feeling is much stronger? If you just went through a terrible breakup or you lost someone close to you, feeling blue doesn't quite capture the pain.
No, it doesn't. In those situations, we use much stronger adjectives. You might say you are heartbroken, devastated, or crushed. For instance, I was absolutely devastated when I heard the bad news.
There is also a specific type of sadness related to disappointment. Let's say you studied for weeks for an English exam and you didn't get the score you wanted. You might feel bummed out.
Oh, bummed out is a fantastic, very natural conversational phrase. It's slightly informal, but we use it all the time. I'm really bummed out that the concert got canceled. Or you can say you feel let down, which means disappointed, because someone or something failed to meet your expectations.
I think expressing sadness is also highly cultural. In some cultures, people are very stoic. They hide their sadness. In others, crying and expressing grief loudly is the norm. Gabriella, how do you think it is typically handled in English-speaking cultures?
That's an interesting point. I think generally, in places like the US or the UK, there is a push to put on a brave face. People often reply, "I'm fine," even when they aren't. However, with close friends, there is an expectation of vulnerability. That's why having these softer phrases like, "I'm just going through a rough patch," or "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed," is so useful. It allows you to admit you are struggling without having to pour out all your deepest, darkest secrets if you don't want to.
Let's transition to an emotion that can sometimes be hard to control: anger. When things go wrong or someone treats us unfairly, it's a natural human response.
Yes, and in English, we have a huge variety of words for anger, ranging from mild annoyance to explosive rage. If you are just a little bit angry because something is bothering you, you can say you are annoyed, irritated, or frustrated.
Frustrated is such a useful word. We use it when we are annoyed because we are unable to change or achieve something. For example, "I am so frustrated with my computer, it keeps freezing."
Moving up the scale of anger, if someone does something that really makes you mad, you might say you are furious, livid, or outraged.
Let's share some idioms. There are so many great ones for anger. If someone makes you extremely angry, you can say they drive you up the wall.
Yes, or you can say, "The situation makes your blood boil." When I see people littering in the park, it makes my blood boil. Another great one is hitting the roof. If I came home as a teenager past my curfew, my dad would hit the roof.
These idioms are very descriptive, but expressing anger professionally is a completely different skill. You can't tell your boss that they make your blood boil.
Definitely not. In a professional environment, you have to use more diplomatic language. Instead of saying, "I am angry that you missed the deadline," you would probably say something like, "I am concerned about the missed deadline," or "I am feeling a bit frustrated by the lack of communication on this project."
That's a brilliant tip. Using words like concerned or disappointed in the workplace is much more acceptable than using words associated with aggressive anger.
Now let's talk about a feeling that unfortunately seems very common in our modern, fast-paced world: stress and anxiety.
It is incredibly common, and there's a difference between being afraid, being nervous, and being stressed. Let's untangle those.
If you are facing something immediately dangerous, you experience fear. You are scared, terrified, or petrified. For example, I am terrified of spiders.
But anxiety and nervousness are usually about things happening in the future. If you have a job interview tomorrow, you aren't terrified, but you might have butterflies in your stomach.
I love that idiom. Having butterflies in your stomach perfectly describes that fluttery, nervous feeling you get in your belly before a big event. You could also say you are feeling anxious, apprehensive, or on edge.
When we talk about work or life stress, we often use words related to carrying a heavy weight. We already mentioned being burnt out. You can also say you are overwhelmed, which means you have so much to do or deal with that it feels like you are drowning in it.
Right. I am completely overwhelmed by the amount of homework I have this weekend. Another great phrase is being under a lot of pressure.
If a friend tells you they are feeling overwhelmed, how should you respond? Empathy is key here. You wouldn't want to just say, "Don't worry about it." That invalidates their feelings.
Exactly. We call that toxic positivity. Instead, you want to show that you are actively listening and that you care. You can use phrases like, "I'm so sorry you're going through this. That sounds incredibly stressful. I completely understand why you feel that way. Is there anything I can do to help?"
Validating someone's emotions, telling them that their feelings make sense, is one of the greatest gifts you can give them in a conversation.
We need to take a quick pause here. We are giving you all these advanced communication secrets entirely for free, but it's incredibly discouraging to see our share count so low. Are we just talking to a wall? If you have ever learned a single word from us, don't just selfishly keep it to yourself while we struggle to grow. Hit the like button, share this with a friend, and subscribe right now. Don't let our channel die just because you couldn't be bothered to click a button.
Gabriella, you mentioned something really important in a previous episode about conflict resolution, and I think it applies perfectly to talking about feelings. You talked about using I statements. Can you explain that concept to our listeners?
Absolutely. This is a crucial communication skill, especially in English. When we are upset with someone, our instinct is often to use you statements. For example, "You never listen to me," or "You are making me angry."
Ouch, those phrases sound very accusatory. They make the other person want to put their defenses up and start a fight.
Exactly. It immediately creates conflict. Instead, psychologists and communication experts recommend using I statements. The structure is, "I feel when because,
Let's do an example. Instead of saying, "You are always late and you don't care about my time," how would you phrase it with an I statement?
I would say, "I feel disrespected when you arrive late to our meetings because it makes me feel like my time isn't valued."
Wow, that is so much better. You are still communicating that you are unhappy, but you are taking ownership of your own emotions. You aren't attacking the other person's character. You are addressing the specific behavior and how it impacts you.
Yes, and it opens the door for a productive conversation rather than a screaming match. Let's try one more. Instead of a boss saying to an employee, "Your work has been terrible lately," how could they phrase it?
The boss could say, "I am feeling concerned about the quality of the recent reports because there have been a few errors. Is there something going on that you need support with?"
Perfect. It expresses the emotion, concern, states the issue, errors in the reports, and invites collaboration rather than defensiveness. Now let's talk about modern slang, how Gen Z and millennials talk about feelings.
Language is always evolving, and the way younger generations express their emotions is fascinating. Let's cover some modern slang terms that our listeners might hear on social media, in movies, or just hanging out with native speakers.
Oh, this is fun. Let's start with the word salty. What does it mean if someone is feeling salty, Richard?
If you are feeling salty, it means you are feeling bitter, resentful, or upset, usually over something minor or petty. For example, he's still salty that he lost the video game tournament.
Yes, it's a very casual way to describe a lingering, annoyed feeling. Another very popular one is feeling shook.
Ah, shook. This comes from the word shaken. If you are shook, you are deeply surprised, shocked, or unsettled by something. Did you see the twist at the end of that movie? I am absolutely shook.
How about the term FOMO?
FOMO is an acronym. It stands for fear of missing out. It's that anxious feeling you get when you see your friends posting pictures on social media at a party that you didn't go to. You think, "Oh no, they are having fun without me." That is FOMO.
Let's do one more. What does it mean to be hangry?
This is my favorite one because it happens to me all the time. Hangry is a combination of the words hungry and angry. It's that irritable, bad mood you get into simply because your blood sugar is low and you need to eat. I need a sandwich right now. I am getting seriously hangry.
I think we've all been there. Using these slang terms will definitely make your English sound highly natural and contemporary. Just remember to only use them in informal situations with friends, not in your IELTS exam or a job interview.
We've given our listeners a ton of vocabulary today, but vocabulary is useless if you don't practice using it in context. So, Gabriella and I are going to do a few short role plays.
Listeners, as we do these role plays, pay attention to the idioms we use, the tone of our voices, and how we show empathy to one another.
All right, scenario 1. Gabriella, you just found out you didn't get the promotion you applied for. I am your coworker checking in on you. Ready?
Ready.
Hey Gabriella, I heard the news about the promotion. I am so sorry. How are you holding up?
Hey Richard, thanks. To be honest, I am pretty bummed out. I really thought I had a good chance, so I'm feeling incredibly let down right now.
I completely understand why you feel that way. You worked so hard on that presentation. It is totally natural to feel disappointed.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to let it make me too salty. I know the other candidate is qualified, but it still stings. I think I just need a few days to process it.
Take all the time you need. If you want to grab a coffee later and vent about it, I'm here for you.
Okay, let's break that down. I used bummed out and let down to express my disappointment, and salty to describe the bitterness I was trying to avoid.
And notice how I responded. I validated your feelings by saying, I completely understand why you feel that way. And, it is totally natural to feel disappointed. I also offered a safe space for you to vent, which means to let out your frustrations by talking about them.
Perfect. Let's do scenario 2. Richard, you are incredibly stressed about moving to a new apartment this weekend, and everything is going wrong. I am your friend calling you. Hey Richard, just calling to see how the packing is going for the big move on Saturday.
Gabriella, I am honestly losing my mind. The moving company just canceled on me. I still have half the kitchen to pack, and I feel completely overwhelmed.
Oh my goodness, they canceled? That is awful. No wonder you are feeling stressed. You must be completely on edge.
I am? I'm trying not to hit the roof, but I am so frustrated with the company. I just feel like I'm drowning in cardboard boxes right now.
Deep breaths, Richard. That sounds incredibly stressful. Listen, I have Saturday morning free. How about I come over at 9 a.m. with some coffee and help you finish packing the kitchen?
Really? You would do that? That would be a lifesaver. Thank you. I'm already feeling a little less anxious, just knowing I have some help. In that scenario, I expressed high anxiety and frustration. I used losing my mind, overwhelmed, hit the roof, and frustrated.
And as a good friend, I listened, validated the stress. No wonder you are feeling stressed. And then offered a practical solution to help alleviate that anxiety. Empathy plus action.
Before we wrap up today's episode, I think it's worth touching on cultural differences one more time. Language isn't just about vocabulary, it's deeply tied to culture.
Absolutely. As an English learner, you might find that the way you express emotions in your native language doesn't translate perfectly into English cultural norms.
For instance, in British English, there is a strong tendency toward understatement. If a British person is facing a total disaster, they might just say, well, this is a bit of a nuisance, isn't it? Or, I'm slightly put out.
Yes, they master the art of the understatement. Whereas in American English, people tend to be a bit more expressive and hyperbolic. An American might say, this is an absolute nightmare, for the exact same situation.
Exactly. Neither way is right or wrong, but being aware of these cultural nuances helps you navigate conversations more smoothly. It helps you understand that if your British colleague says they are a bit annoyed, they might actually be quite angry.
Also, pay attention to body language and tone of voice. In English, how you say something often carries more emotional weight than the actual words. If I say, I'm fine with a bright smile, I mean I am good. If I say, I'm fine with a sigh and looking away, I am definitely not fine.
The classic I'm fine trap. Yes, intonation is everything. We should dedicate a whole future episode just to intonation and body language.
That sounds like a great idea for a future episode. Well, we have covered a massive amount of ground today, Richard.
We certainly have. We've gone from the highs of being on cloud 9 and thrilled to the lows of being down in the dumps and devastated.
We learned how to handle our anger without making our blood boil, and how to express our stress when we are feeling burnt out or overwhelmed.
We also discussed the crucial difference between you statements and I statements to resolve conflicts gracefully, and we threw in some modern slang like salty and hangry for good measure.
The most important takeaway, listeners, is to give yourself permission to be expressive. Don't limit yourself to just happy, sad, and angry. Try out these new phrases in your next English conversation. Even if you make a mistake, native speakers will appreciate the effort you are making to communicate your true feelings.
Absolutely. Emotions connect us all, regardless of what language we speak. Being able to share those feelings accurately brings us closer to the people around us.
We poured our hearts, our energy, and our souls into making this episode for you today. If you close this app right now, without liking, sharing, and subscribing, you are basically telling us that our hard work is completely worthless to you. Please, Don't be that person who takes our free education for granted. Hit subscribe right now to save our podcast, like this episode, and share it to show you actually care about our survival. We rely on you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review. Until next time, keep practicing, keep sharing your feelings, and take care of yourselves.
Bye, everyone.